When it comes to training or like just working out in the gym, like unless you're this genetic freak, you know what I mean, and you let's say you already been working out 10 years, you know what I mean, and you're there, you know what I mean, you freaking you're the biggest guy in the gym, and freaking you got striations everywhere, and you're freaking less than 10% body fat, and like that. And then like you're probably at a unless you're that guy, all right, and then a bro split. I understand doing a bro split because like at that point then you're a true bodybuilder, you know what I mean, and you're just literally you're just sculpting at this point, you know what I mean, like that, all right. But for the newbie or the 1 to 3 year guy that's in the gym and stuff like that doing bro splits, I would not recommend that at all right, because you got to think it in terms like this, and this is the best way I've ever heard it been said, because all right, let's talk about, okay, we're talking about jiu-jitsu, all right, if you were doing you're doing jiu-jitsu, all right, tell me how many times or how good you would be and how good your game will be built, all right, if you just went into the gym and did jiu-jitsu once a week.
Nah, it's not.
You come in and you like that. All right, and that's real broad. Let's just say this. All right. Let's talk about a specific position. Let's say you're working on your spider lasso. Okay, like that. You're working on your spider lasso like that. All right, and you want to get that better. Let's say you go in and you're trying to really build up your spider lasso game, and you want to do it once a week. How long do you really think that game is gonna? Why? You're not doing it enough often, right?
You're not doing it.
Okay, my point exactly. So you're telling me that you're gonna go into the gym, all right, and you're only gonna freaking hit your legs once a week, all right? Because that's what the blow split is, all right? You're talking about chest on Mondays, arms on Tuesdays, freaking legs on Wednesdays, your traps on Thursday, like that, and then, and then so on and so forth, abs on Friday, and then you come back on Monday, like that. You see what I mean? So you're telling me right now in freaking someone that is obsessed with what they're doing, and they're trying to build and get things bigger, better, and faster and stuff like that. You're only gonna hit it once a week, like that, like that, and you're trying to and you expect like you see like that, yeah. So you're not gonna so you're not gonna have a guy, a professional athlete, just practice on their craft once a week, to be the best, or the biggest or the baddest or the fastest or anything like that. Why would you do that in your weightlifting? You know what I mean? Like that. You're gonna have to hit that, frequently, all right, like that, throughout the week, and you're not gonna get a better workout than total body, 2 to 3 times a week.
That's what people neglect to pay attention to. Really, is you neglect your source when you get the information. Because you do go in like one of the guys I love listening to this guy, right? CT Fletcher.
Yeah.
Like I love listening to CT Fletcher, right? But this dude is built like a brick shit house at 55, 60 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's super solid. So
2, 3, 4 heart surgeries,
right.
and still lifted.
When you look at Hulk or what's the guy's name? Kevin Green.
Kai Green?
Kai Green.
Yeah, he worked with Kai Green.
Kai Green. When you look at those guys, they're huge.
So they've been lifting for like 10, 12, 15 years.
They stay in the gym all day. So when they tell you, I do this and this on Monday, this and this on Tuesday, they can do that because I'm already there.
Yeah.
I'm already there.
Yeah, it took them that long to get there.
Right.
You're talking about you only been lifting 1, 2, 3 years.
Right.
All right, you still got another decade to go before you're just sculpting.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So many people go in and you listen to the guy who's already there, and he says, "Well, this is what I do, but this is what I do today, but not this is what I did in the beginning."
Yeah. And honestly, freaking back then, have you ever seen Pumping Iron? Yeah, like that. Have you seen Pumping Iron?
I haven't.
Yeah. That's what really put Arnold Schwarzenegger on mainstream map. Freaking with that video like that. And don't get me wrong, those guys were still doing that back then. You know what I mean? But the thing is that they were doing it. They were still frequent. You know,
Right.
the amount of volume and frequency that they were doing it, even though they were still doing the bro split back then and stuff like that, because that's what it is. You know what I mean? Freaking those California Venice Beach, you know, days lifting in the sun and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, you just see those guys just curling all day, you know, like that, you know, freaking. And guess what, they probably curled, you know, and did tries for like 2-3 hours, you know, right there that session. They went to go home, take a nap, get some fuel in, and they went right back to the gym. Guess what, they did a freaking leg session for 2-3 hours.
Yep.
All right, like that. They went home, took a nap, then they went another like that, a freaking chest session, you know, a back session for 2-3 hours, you know, those like that. They were splitting it up, you know, but within that whole day, they were getting about 3 to 4 workouts. You
But
know,
you're doing
yeah, you see what I mean?
Like
Like that, like it wasn't all in just one 1 hour total body workout. No, it was like bite sized throughout all the days while they're taking their naps, they're eating, you know, their fuel, and then and taking their supplements and all that
Which
stuff.
is the difference between the guy who's a professional athlete
Mm-hmm.
and that's his job. So he
Yeah.
can wake up and get up in the morning and only drill spider lasso for an hour and
Yeah.
then go home and then go back, because he's going to get up the next day and he's got 8 hours just to dedicate to his craft.
Nah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I hate the word hobbyist, but versus the hobbyist.
The enthusiast.
The
The
enthusiast.
enthusiast.
Yeah.
Versus the guy who has a regular job. That's not how he takes care of his family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have 8 hours to do this, so now I have to pack in as much as I can in the time that I have. And you're saying that that's full body workout, whatever frequency.
Yeah, and I'm happy you
Yeah.
said that, because freaking, I think a lot of these enthusiasts and stuff like that, they expect those type of results of what a professional guy is doing, you know, like that, you know, because they see, you know, they're probably still young and stuff like that, but you know, they're working a full-time job and stuff like that, and they're only coming in the evening classes when they're available, or the early morning classes before work, and that once a day, but they're not really seeing what the guy that, you know, is dedicating his life, his whole life to, is doing throughout. They only see that one bit and like, why am I not as good as you? Well, you know what? All right, let's take freaking Kobe Bryant. We talked about him, you know, his work ethic like that. You know, this dude freaking, I think for 20 years, he woke up 4 in the morning, all right, because he saw the benefit of what it took to wake up 4 in the morning, all right, because his team practice didn't even happen until freaking 8 o'clock or like that. So he woke up 4 in the morning, did an hour session. You're talking about an hour just free throws, bop, 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 just hour free throw, all right. Got in his freaking breakfast by 5 o'clock, then was back in the gym at 6. All right, now he's working on just 3-pointers. Bop, 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 bop. Went home, you know, freaking got another snack in like that. Then freaking went back at 8 o'clock. Now he's already, you know, about time the team is all, waking up to do their first team practice. He's already had 2 workouts in. Like that, and you know, like that, and then that's so on and forth. Then, you know, he's handling some business, maybe, you know, freaking 12 o'clock, you know, he's already back in the gym working on his fitness and things like that. Then he goes home, eats again, then he's back again, freaking for the evening team practice. You know, they have the morning, like 2 a day, you know, like that. Like he was that already 4 or 5 workouts like that. He's not even done.
Yeah.
You know, and then knowing him, that type of mentality that he had, you know, after team is practice over, he's probably freaking another hour freaking just hitting free throws, you know, like that. You know, and so while the rookie, so to speak, is only getting 2-3 workouts in, 2 team practices and 1 individual workout in. You know, you're talking about the vet that's already put in a decade, you know, 2 decades in, like that is just sculpting on, you know, freaking on fine tuning his craft. He's, you know, like that, you know, he's already freaking, by the end of the day, he's already had freaking 5-6 workouts, and he did that. He's doing that for 20 years.
The amount of things that people don't see and they don't appreciate. Like you see where I am, but you didn't see how I got here.
Oh, bro, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, well, what? And you're like, man, it's a lot to get that far down the road. But the flip side of it is, a lot of people, once they get there, they talk about what they're doing today. They don't talk about how they got there.
No,
It's like
it's in the past. Yeah,
today.
it's in the past. You know what I mean?
And it's like, no, man, it was like remember when I first started training, so I was like, gotta do jiu-jitsu, gotta do jiu-jitsu. And then one day I was coming in as training, was getting beat up by all his amateur fighters, all his pros, and one day he was like, you should do a fight camp with us. Right?
Yeah.
Like, do a fight. He was like, stop coming to 6 o'clock, come to 7. Come to 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then, well before anything happened, because Eric had a camp, Adrian had a camp, Jason had a camp, Aaron had a camp, somebody had a camp. So always a consistent camp going. Luis had a camp. You know, it was always consistent. So for a year, I was just in a perpetual fight camp.
Yeah.
Like all the time. But then when you start taking leaps and bounds in your improvement, people are like, oh, you train once a day. It's like, yeah, but it's different because I'm training with Valdez, but he's a pro fighter.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm training with the pro. So I'm essentially, and not doing everything he's doing because I was at work all day.
Yeah.
So when he's at the first session, working out, then running in the middle of the day, then coming to I'm 2 workouts behind.
Yeah.
But from the guys that were working and they would see, they were coming to the regular 6 o'clock class, I was
already
soaring ahead of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was doing something different, but not, bro.
When I the 4 years that I was a professional, like that 4 years, you know, I was single and I was, you know, so I had time to just be very selfish for myself, you know, like, and so, all right, and so, baby, I love you. So, yeah, but yeah, you know. I was young. I was single. Freaking, I didn't have a job. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was doing part time at community college, but that's beside this fact. You know what I mean? Like that. So you know, and I tell my students, you know, all the time. You know, going back to just that saying of like, man, you make everything look easy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, these 4 years was the bulk of my years where I skyrocketed and just, you know, leaps and bounds of skill set from this guy to me. You know what I mean? And that's what you're talking about in these terms, you know, like that. Because I told you, I was up. Before the first class, before my first training class, I was already up. I was doing an hour of cardio. All right. After my hour of cardio, I went straight to class and then and I went back-to-back classes. You know, I did the stand-up class, you know, and then I did the jiu-jitsu class. So that's 2 hours. All right. And then I did extra, obviously, with Saul, you know, with pad holding and stuff like that. So an hour of cardio and about 2-3 hours of freaking actual training. Went home, you know, freaking shower, eat, you know, slept, try to get as much rest as I can before I had to come back at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? And at that time, I was training the kids. So, you know, I would train the kids. As soon as I was done training the kids, then I would train another, all right, hour of stand-up, sparring, everything like that. And then going to jiu-jitsu afterwards, after the sparring session like that. And then guess what? After all that was said and done, my ass was back into the gym doing another hour cardio session, getting my sauna time in, you know, like that in my recovery. All right, so I can be home, you know, about 9-10 o'clock, go to sleep, and then do it all over again. You know what I mean, like that. And so that time that, you know, the freaking 2 days, you know, like that, doing 2-3 classes in the morning, 2-3 classes at night, like that, with my own training outside. I'm like, that's why I was able to freaking just leaps and bounds from the other guy.
It's
you know,
really not 2 days though. It's really not.
What would you call it?
It's like 4 days.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just talking. You know, yeah.
Realistically, like, you know, when I was getting ready, same thing. You know, I was working, but when I was getting ready for Master of the World, I would get up in the morning before work, road work, 3 miles, right? Didn't matter what time, it was 3 hours road work. Then, when it was had to go to work, when it was time to train, I would get to the gym with Pablo, and Pablo was there, but there was a dude who used to train with us. He went back to Brazil with Victor. Victor was in school at U of H. When I would go, I would pick Victor up from U of H. We would go to the gym, and an hour before class started, every day, hour and a half, we would just drill. Just me and Victor, just drill. And then class, train. And then when you leave there, then you go to 24. Whether it was sauna, bicycle, whatever it was. But then there's another. So when you look at it realistically, you're training 3-4 times a day. Like to do that. It's not once, it's not twice. Like that's like if you want to be in the upper echelon, once or twice is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not.
If you just want to separate yourself just a little bit from your peers, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you have to do, you know, whether it's one class extra, you know, freaking, or, you know, 3 to 4 classes like that. But, you know, obviously everybody's, you know, time and you know, is different, you know, of what they can allow, you know, like that, you know, especially if you're a family man or you're a full-time business owner and things like that, you know. But you know, if you have it, you know, if you have the time or you can make the time, you know, that's the most important thing to say, is if you can make the time and you're serious about separating yourself from your peers, you know, because, you know, you want to be able to achieve something just one time or achieve it consistently over a span or a period like that. You know, those are the things that are gonna have to be.
So let's pretend there is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have the time. Let's say you reallocate your time.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I mean by reallocation. And this depends on your job. So maybe you flex your job, maybe you can.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and sit in traffic for an hour and a half to get to work, and then try to leave work at 5 and sit an hour and a half to get home? You spent 3 hours sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
Bro, that's at least a session.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just spent a session sitting in your car.
Yeah.
You know, now if you sit in your car listening to Sweat Equity, respect, keep sitting in your car.
Yeah.
But I'm just
True,
saying,
true.
you can reallocate some of that time. Maybe instead of being to work at 7:30, or maybe instead of trying to get to work at 8, you get into work at 7. Because if you get to work at 7, you miss that hour and a half sitting in traffic, get you off a little bit earlier, so you're not spending that time in traffic. Or you try to get to work at 9, do a little workout in the morning, miss the traffic on the way in, so you can just reallocate your time.